Hey all, Nev here, and I am having all kinds of wardrobe issues today. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but when you're like have some clothes, and then maybe you haven't quite wore them in a little bit, and then you put them on, but you don't quite like plan well in advance with enough time to like do what I like to call a wardrobe change, and then you're sort of stuck with it. Well, that's kind of what's happening today. I haven't worn this shirt in a little while, and it's a nice shirt and I like it, but it's just, I don't know if the shirt changed or my body changed or some sort of something changed, but it's not, I don't like the way it fits anymore, and I didn't have time to change, and so I am just having all kinds of challenges with the clothes today. And it's sort of embarrassing to say, but there we are. These things happen. I think they happen to everybody. And hopefully you will say, yes, Nev, I understand it happens to me, so that I don't feel like the only loco out there who has these challenges. I also have sometimes good hair days and bad hair days. And today is sort of like a bad clothes, bad hair kind of day, but I am choosing to still have a great day after all. So that's sort of where I am. I promised to do a video briefly and share with you sort of the investing in Barcelona. And so here I am sharing some of the things that I have learned, just in case you decide that you want to invest in Spain. So a couple of things to notice is that, of course, you can invest anywhere in Spain. I just happen to have been in Barcelona, and so I can kind of speak on that particular market. So there are multiple neighborhoods in Barcelona, just like any major city that you can think of. They're called barrios, which is the same as neighborhood, right? And so depending on the neighborhood you go into depends on the price you're going to pay. Again, very common, nothing too shocking or surprising, I don't think, if you have ever considered investing anywhere. So that's very normal and very typical. Different cities around Spain are going to demand different prices and different opportunities. Some of the areas are going to be very touristy, so your strategy most likely is going to be short-term rentals from visitors coming in and staying there. In places like Madrid, Barcelona, potentially even Valencia, and so bigger towns might be better poised for long-term rentals, meaning you rent it out to the local who just needs a place to stay. I've already shared with you that the rental average is about 1,000 euros or 1,200 bucks plus minus. And the prices range, I have been able to find properties, of course size is going to matter as well, right? But we're going to be talking about like 1 bedroom to 3 bedroom apartments. I have seen prices range anywhere from 150 euros on the low end, so that would be about maybe 170 dollars. 170,000. Let me rephrase that. All the way up to like 2-3 million euros. So it's really depending on what you're looking for. Vast majority of the properties that you're going to be able to find are going to range between 250 euros to about 400,000. So 250,000. I keep forgetting the thousands. 250,000 to 400,000 euros. So we're talking $280,000 to about $500,000. If you're buying, there's going to be some transfer fees. So there are taxes that are associated with purchasing and with sale. On the buying end, if you are purchasing pre-owned property, as they call it, so it's kind of like a pre-owned car, right? Like it wasn't newly built. It means that somebody had owned it before. That transfer is going to be, I believe, 10%. And if you buy a never owned property, meaning a new build, then that transfer is going to be 5% on the purchase price. On the selling side, you can probably account on paying capital gains on average about 23% or so. So I haven't found out if they have the similar to United States, that 1031 exchange. I know we have that in US, but I don't know if they have that in Spain. I haven't been able to get a clear answer. And I think when I have spoken with some of the realtors and attorneys, I might have confused them a bit more than anything else. Because when I said, well, can I transfer? They said, of course, you sell, you collect money, and then you buy something else. And I said, but that's silly, because I'm spending 23% on the sale, and then I have to spend another 10% on the buy. I'm losing a lot of money, and that's not even to account for their fees that take place. So that's one of the things that I have learned. Of course, you can purchase for cash. But not everybody has $250,000 of cash ready to sink into just one deal. Some of us have that, and some of us have that kind of money, but we're just not ready to sink it into one deal. There is financing available, and you can get financing through Spanish banks, but it's going to cost a bit more. So locals are going to pay lower interest rates, so the cost to borrow money is going to be less. And the foreigners, basically you and I, are going to pay a bit higher interest rates. And the typical lending in Spain is 30 to 40% down. So that's a substantial difference than here in United States when it comes to investing, and something that you should consider when you're deciding whether you want to purchase anything in Spain whatsoever and finance it. Of course, you can purchase it for cash and then perhaps refinance. That will be a much better strategy if you have a property that you find, like a distressed property that you find for much less, and then you can go in, fix it up, and then refinance for higher amount of money than what you have purchased, and then potentially be able to pull some cash out. But again, do account that it's going to take a bit more of the down payment, so your appreciation is going to have to be higher in order to pull that off. Whereas here in US, 20% down, sometimes 25% for maybe higher competitive markets. So that's kind of something interesting to consider and look into. If you're looking to invest for visas, which is possible, and a lot of times some of the investors, when they go internationally to invest, they will invest for passport, invest for visa. You can invest if you invest at least €500,000, you will be able to apply for investor's visa, and that way use that as a path to citizenship into EU. So that could be a cool and interesting strategy, because there's a lot of folks that like to be able to get a few more passports and to have multiple strategies for living and traveling and that kind of stuff. So that is an option. Hopefully this is helpful to you. I will be sure to post some photos of some of the properties that I was able to find, just so that you have an idea of what we're talking about. Until next time, stay forever money blessed, and do remember, you are only one deal away.